loud. Fabulous. Hello, good evening, and welcome to our session tonight, doTERRA Business Made Easy. And Jeanne and I, Kristen, are going to give you a little bit of information on how you can make money and make an impact. Maybe one of those things is important to you right now, maybe both are, but we're going to tell you how. So I'm going to kick it off. Just a couple of little things first before we get started. You will want to put your Zoom on speaker view, which is up in the right-hand corner. You can choose between gallery and speaker. Speaker will allow you to see our slides more clearly, and then you'll see our little smiling faces up in the corner. Second, as Jeanne was just mentioning before we started recording and going live, there is a chat function, so we are going to keep all participants muted for the moment so that we can record this without a lot of background noise, but feel free to drop any questions or information into the chat. We'll be checking that regularly. And finally, because we're talking about doTERRA, and of course essential oils are a staple for anything we do, grab your favorite oil right now, take a little bit into your hand or apply it on your body, and just take a big deep breath and arrive. And I'd love to know what oil you chose, so you can drop that in the chat as we get started. I picked Adaptive, the roller one, just because that's happens to be on my desk, and it's so calming and soothing. And since we're getting into the evening now, I'm ready for a little calm, soothing time. Jeanne, what have you got?
I'm inhaling spearmint right now. I have spearmint and clementine in my diffuser. Spearmint's a favorite, and it's cooling, and it's, of course, you know, the oil of confident speech. So
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So we're just going to start off by introducing ourselves. As I said, I'm Kristen Rzasa, and how I came to doTERRA. I became a customer in doTERRA in 2014. And I was very excited to learn about some natural products because I had just come through a pretty horrible couple of years of medical challenges and several surgeries. And so I was in the fitness industry at that time. So I was doing a lot of things right in terms of my health, but yet I still ended up going through this period of having a huge unidentifiable mass in my body. And I learned that toxins and chemicals and ingredients in many of our products that we use on our skin and cleaning our homes, etc., can attribute to a lot of dysfunction in our bodies. So I was excited to learn more. For about a year and a half, or a little more than that, I was a customer and I loved it. And I did share with some family and friends because I was finding so many ways to use these products in my own life that I decided I wanted to tell others. And then in 2016, I got involved in the business and I learned the power of network marketing and also how different doTERRA is. And I fell in love with the mission. And that's what brought me here today, and to so many of these people on this call, including my pal, Jeanne. So I'll let you take it away and introduce yourself.
Thanks, Kristen. So if you don't know me, my name's Jeanne Marie Blodi, but my friends call me Jeanne, and I'm a functional medicine health coach. But I wasn't always, and it kind of all happened in the perfect storm, if you will, because I started using essential oils also as a customer. And at the time, I had some very, very profound experiences with oils. So I went on to begin to learn a lot more about the effect of toxins on your body and on your family, which at that time I was helping my kids recover from different situations as well. And since then, I've gone on to help to empower a couple, probably several hundred people to take charge of their own health. And I wasn't really originally going to start the business, but at that point I felt so like I had to shout it from the rooftops. I wanted to be sure that my friends and family could also share in the same positive experiences that I was having. So it started to occur to me that I was sort of sitting on a gold mine. And seriously, no matter what motivated you to join us tonight, whether you're just a user, of essential oils, or you're just curious, or maybe you're a sharer, or you're starting to think you would like to learn how to get your oils paid for free natural health care, or you're just ready to explore the business opportunity on a little bit further, spend 15 or more hours a week to create an income while you're changing lives and changing the world. We're really excited to have you here. So thanks for making the time for us.
Absolutely. So where's my little, there we go. Let's dive in. Exploring the opportunity. Have you thought about having your own business? So Jeannie just referenced that there are different levels of doing this at 3 to 5 hours, 10 to 20 hours, 20 to 30 hours. And we'll talk about that more in a moment. But have you thought about running your own business? And what would be appealing about that to you? Is it the flexibility of time? Is it being able to work wherever you want? Is it being able to choose the people that you work with? So just think about that for a moment. And, maybe that is something you might want to consider and even jot down if you're really seriously thinking about going into business. And secondly, how do you feel about network marketing? So I must admit that I was a little skeptical about network marketing when I first heard about it, but I didn't understand the power of it, and I also didn't understand the doTERRA difference. So as I learned more, I became more excited about it. And one thing that I always say is that phrase is going to give you a good indication if this could be an opportunity for you. So breaking it down for a second, network. So do you like to network? And that does not necessarily mean going to a Chamber of Commerce, mixer. That means, do you like to meet new people? Are you always finding new people to talk to at the gym, making friends with someone in line at the grocery store, going and trying new things, taking classes, always expanding your circle. If you are a person that really prefers to stay home, doesn't have a big circle of connections, then it's going to be a challenge to be in network marketing. So network means you really just love people. You like, talking to people and always meeting new people. And marketing is just simply telling people about something that you love, something that's powerful. So if you are the kind of person that sees a good movie and you want to tell everybody, or you can't wait to talk about the latest restaurant that you went to and had a good experience to, then this is definitely something that you're going to enjoy. So if you read a good book, see a good movie, visit a good restaurant, and you don't like to tell people about it, you just kind of keep it on the down low to yourself, again, that might not be for you. But I really like the power of network marketing. I love people, and I love spreading the word when I experience something that's good, whether it be a meal, a business, anything it might be. So think about what brought you here today and what kind of makes you curious about this opportunity with doTERRA. And then finally, for me, I want to just say about that particular question is the impact that this company is making throughout the planet is something that intrigued me about the opportunity. And then also the opportunity to make an impact even in other ways, just one-to-one, sharing one oil with one person and watching a life change. So to me, that was a way of something that intrigued me about the opportunity. And finally, what would residual income mean for your family? We're in crazy times right now. Your income might have changed. Some people have lost jobs. Some people are really facing hardships in the financial area of their lives. And for many people, even $200 a month extra could really make a difference. What would you do with $200 a month extra? I'd love to hear if you put it in the chat. What would you do with $200? What would you do with $1,000 extra a month? Mm-hmm. Or even 10,000? Crazy to think about, but great thing to ponder. So what does financial freedom mean for you? Does that word get you excited and passionate? I'll tell you, for me, it lights me up. I'm excited when I hear that word, financial freedom. And I know exactly what it means for me. For me, financial freedom means to be able to live without debt. It means to be able to cover all of my expenses easily and comfortably. It means that I'm able to give generously to causes that are important to me. It means that I'm able to travel often, and it means that I'm able to invest in things that give me joy, whether that be, you know, I'm not really one who's going to go out and buy a fancy car, but there's lots of great classes I want to take and you know, seminars I want to go to and conferences and things like that. So that's what brings me joy. That's what financial freedom means for me. And so that gets me excited because I am very dedicated to creating and cultivating a life of in alignment with my values, and that excites me and lights me up every day. So think about what that means for you. So where are you now? Now, I have been in all kinds of different things over the course of my career, all kinds of different kinds of business models. So you might be right now in a traditional job, and that's a trading hours for dollars scenario. I have definitely been there. Corporate job, you know, collecting the paycheck every week. I've also owned a franchise, and that was definitely a dollars per hour situation. If I didn't show up, I didn't make money. And there's a cap, right? In my corporate career, you know, I got that 3%, you know, standard raise every year. And my time freedom was definitely limited. I had, you know, I worked at one job, my first job for 8 years, and we had 2 weeks of vacation that whole time. So my time freedom was definitely limited. And I was not working towards my own dream. What I like about the authentic direct sales opportunity is it's truly residual income. That means that I can be earning money even when I am not working. And this gives you the opportunity, we'll get into our compensation options a little bit more in a few moments, but it gives me the opportunity to earn both residual and passive income. So residual income is when I bring in a customer and they fall in love with the products and they continue to use them, you know, month after month after month. So I'm still earning on that one customer I brought in. But I also have a fantastic team. And when they bring in customers, I also get paid off of that. So that's passive income. I didn't have anything to do with that. I may never even meet that person, but I'm able to actually profit on that business as well because of this direct sales model. And I love that. Just 3 months ago, I really had to step out of my business for about 4 to 6 weeks when my mother passed away, and I could not focus on business, and I was still earning money. If in any other job that I've ever had, if I had to step out of work for 6 weeks, I would not still have been getting a paycheck. And I actually had one of my biggest months ever during that time. So my team, my current customers with their residual sales continued to work for me. So there is no limit on what you can do here. And there is no limit to the freedom that you create when you are working on your dreams, building your dreams, rather than working for someone else's dreams. So, but why doTERRA though? There's all kinds of business opportunities out there. Why doTERRA? Well, effective is one reason. So let me tell you, you can see some of the stats here, but let me tell you what I think is important about this. Number one, the product works. We know it works. It's the most tested and most trusted essential oils company on the planet. Another thing that's important to me with this particular business is it is a consumable product. So you will finish it and you will need to buy it again. So that is really critical. And there are many other network marketing companies out there that I'm sure are really wonderful. And I love to be a customer of them. But to be frank with you, there are only so many spatulas or pairs of leggings or necklaces that I'm going to need. So I am not going to be, it's not a consumable, and it's more of a like nice to have another pair of leggings. But if I don't have my supplements, they are a game changer for my body, for my health, for my mood. I am going to be buying that. It's a needs based for me. I don't need another kitchen utensil. I don't need another pair of earrings, but I need to have those things that keep me off medications, keep me feeling healthy, and support me. So that's really important for me. And the last bullet on there is especially important because our retention rate is above board of anyone's in the industry, right? The industry is 13%. doTERRA has a retention rate of 65%. And that is key to your residual income that you create. All right, so not only effective, it is proven. As I said, we're the largest essential oil company in the world, and we hit our $1 billion mark at the same rate that Apple did. And we are on track for our second billion. And so that means that another thing that's important to me is that I'm in an expanding market. And there is no doubt in my mind that this is an expanding market. It is the optimum time to be in this business. There is no better time. If you just think for a moment, the last few months of your life, what's gone on with your family, your community, out into the world. We need health. We need blessings for our health more than ever right now. And we need support for our emotional health as well. And we have that to offer. So there is no better time. I love that it is privately owned company, and the owners have committed that they are dedicated to keeping that and not going public. And we are debt free with no outside funding, which is pretty amazing. And doTERRA started in 2008, which, if you'll think back, that was a very big economic crash at that time. And so it was pretty risky for them to take the leap that they did and start a company at a very challenging financial time. So that's really important too. And the other thing that I want to say about that is, for me, I would want to only be in a business that had, not only an expanding market, but a large number of people in a broad spectrum of lifestyles that can benefit, right? Many of us have our own little niche. I have a partner in my business who loves pets and can answer a lot of questions about pets, or another person that, loves yoga and meditation and mindfulness, or someone who has young kids and really wants to, focus on health for children. It's the doTERRA, we always say, is the cake, or I like to say the cupcake, and you bring the frosting. So there is a very large number of people in a very broad spectrum of lifestyles that can benefit from this product. And that is exciting, because if the niche is too small, there's a lot of companies that have a great product out there, but it only applies to a small group of people. It is really hard to have the kind of growth that we want to be looking for when we get into a business. But here's for me, which is, the cherry on top of the icing, and that is the caring heart of doTERRA and what we do on a global scale. The partnerships that we create with growers around the world. We go to the corners of the earth where these gorgeous plants grow in their most natural habitat, in their most natural environment, and we partner with those growers. We make sure that we take out the middleman so that those growers, who have in many cases been doing this for generations and generations, can benefit. And that's a priority for us. This helps us preserve our agricultural traditions with this co-impact sourcing model. And it allows us to give back. So the Healing Hands Foundation, which is the nonprofit arm of doTERRA, is just far-reaching and immense in what they are doing. Things like Days for Girls. Now that hit my heart very hard. I've traveled in Africa, India, and I've seen what happens to these girls, and the resources that they're lacking there. And we are partnering with an organization that will help them. Operation Underground Railroad is another example. Sex trafficking is a huge, huge crisis in this country and globally. And so we are partnering with them. So all of those things are really important to me, because we have an extensive reach of how we are making a difference in the world. Just most recently, and it really hit home for me again, is the frontline responder kits that doTERRA so generously gave and spread out throughout the country. And having a stepdaughter in the emergency room on the front line, and being able to send her that gorgeous kit at no cost, to be able to gift that to her was just really important to me. So I just love those things. And when we have our gatherings, when we have our wonderful convention and our leadership retreats, we don't hear about money other than the money that we donate to these causes. We don't get fancy cars. We don't see cars, you know, driven across the stage. What we see is the faces of these growers and these people who are benefiting from this work that we're doing in Healing Hands. And so to me, that was the real like crux of why I wanted to partner with doTERRA in business. So Jeannie, I'm going to hand it over to you now.
Thank you, ma'am. So as Kristen's speaking, you're probably kicking off some questions such as, how do I make money? Or how much time is involved? Or is this something that I could even be good at? Or, you know, do I have what it takes to make any money doing this? So I was thinking the same thing in a way, because when I first stepped into this, you know, into my relationship with doTERRA and into this amazing community, I didn't know any of those beautiful things that Kristen just described at all. What I cared about was I had a profound experience. It made a difference in my family's life to the point where I felt certain that there had been some divine intervention, the way that the oils came into my life, and that my daughter had been in an accident, and some, you know, ultimately there was an oil that was used in an intensive care situation, and she had an immaculate recovery, and it was really a beautiful thing. So for me, it wasn't even about how much time was involved. It was about how many people can I tell about this? And then it literally just cascaded from there. But it's about bringing your passion to the table. Do you have what it takes? What's the next step? It's click. Letting people know about it. How you make money doing it is simple. When we want to help someone learn about oils, we might share a sample with them. How do you do that? As simply as talking to a friend about it, having a conversation with somebody on a supermarket line, going, you know, just chatting with your waiter or waitress someday when you're able to, you know, get out into the world again, or to the person that's leading your exercise class, or the person next to you that's like rubbing their knees during an exercise class, or any of those places. So of course, if you love something, you know, your purse weighs 10 pounds because you have lots of stuff with you, or you're carrying samples, or you're maybe mailing samples, you're going to want to teach other people about it. So we're not going to become experts. We're just going to share some of the basics of what we know. Not getting into anything super deep, but we can help people with their with their symptoms rather. So we're going to teach them and invite them to become empowered to create their own path of wellness, and then invite them to a class, which we teach on a regular basis, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly, or you know, in person at some point, or online on a regular basis, or just make some kind of a, you know, a regular place where people can find you, even if it's just to sit out in a park one day a week, so that people can connect with you. And then after we've touched them and we've taught them a little bit, we can help them to get their own account and offer continued education so that they can understand and feel supported in their journey, and continue to be a part of this same community, and flourish in whatever way they're comfortable, whether they join into the sharing piece, which we'll get into, or they're just, and I hate to even use the word just, or they're a customer, because we love customers. Our customers are those people that make our retention rate what they are, and they are the people who build that residual and that passive income for us. So we, you know, we welcome people from every walk, and that is how we make money. So how much time is involved is what I'm going to talk about next. And you can make enough money to pay for your own oils. This is really what, when I thought about it and when I got a paycheck in the beginning, I thought, I didn't do anything at all. What do you mean? I got a check, and it wasn't a ton, but it still had a real impact for me. And if you become a little bit more involved with doTERRA and you start to follow some of the bigger leaders and they talk about that moment when they got that check, whether it was $15 or $30 or $100 from that first class or that first share, and now how they reinvested it. And when we say reinvest, it just means to maybe buy some handouts or some things that you could use to sample people. You want to, a simple thing like that. We're not, what the beautiful thing is, you're not, there's no real overhead here. So when you're reinvesting, it's little bits, but it's still, it feels good to know that you're taking it from something that you're already making. And then if you want to supplement your income, maybe you're going to put in a few more hours, 10 to 15 hours a week, to do a little bit more, become a little more well-versed in how to make a presentation, how to share what you know in an organized way. And you're not just standing in line at the supermarket waiting for people to come up and cough, but you're getting it out there, right? So you're gonna think about how good that feels to you, and then maybe start to consider, hey, wait a minute, I'm working my day job and I'm juggling this, but I'd like to really get to a space where I can consider moving aside, depending on what that day job is, maybe put in less hours there and more hours on doTERRA. And you're going to work those details out as you move along, because you're going to feel great. You're going to be saving vacation days because you're not going to be getting sick anymore. You're not going to need those mental health days anymore, because you're going to be completely vibrant and feeling fantastic, using your oils each morning and integrating them into your life. And remember, if you're in a workspace, you're going to be sharing with the people that you work with as a personal diffuser or with your diffuser. And suddenly everyone around you is going to be so much more pleasant. And they're going to want to know what you're doing. So there's another avenue for you to tap into. But as you start to consider replacing your income, maybe you're going to spend a little bit more time doing that. And learning a little bit more and organizing it in a different way, so that you can replace that income and begin to shift away from that first financial pathway. And you're going to be able to rock a higher amount of money. So moving along, you're wondering if this can work for you, right? And one of the things that Kristen said earlier kind of clicked for me in terms of like tying it together, in just saying, so many different people come into doTERRA. So maybe you're thinking, Kristen owned a franchise and Jeanne eventually, became a health coach. And I don't know if I have that because I did something completely different. But no matter where you are in life, someone can benefit from this, and you can benefit from this, right? So when you think about it in terms of that, of course it's possible. Like, you can be passionate about oils and still be passionate about all the other things you care about. Maybe you're really an avid biker or camper or car aficionado, but there's a way to tie wellness into any single one of those avenues of your life, where of course you're passionate about how you can tie that in. And while you're involved in that, whatever that other organization is, you care about the people that you're together with in that path that you're involved in, right? So here you are, and you're involved in whatever that club or that church or that prayer group or that baking, Facebook group that you're in, or that maybe that diet lifestyle group that you're in, and you're thinking about it, and you're thinking, what's the next step? How do I really step in and make it bigger, go into that full on? Can you follow a system? Because it's that simple. There's a path you can take. If you can follow a system and execute it and check those boxes, you can get things done. And if you're saying yes to all those things that I said, hey, wait, I like to feel good. I know people. I know how to make checks in boxes and check things off my to-do list. Then this is for you. I mean, it's literally that simple. So to get a little deeper into it, click. this gets a little wordy, but I love it because it can kind of really illustrate it for pretty much like everyone in every walk of life. Okay, so this is not my, not my niche, not my area of expertise, but linear income or linear residual income versus having a job. Okay, so there's a cash flow quadrant that was taken from Rich Dad Poor Dad. And how can we fit doTERRA into these quadrants? The top left this is Jeanne 15, 20 years ago, okay? You have a job, you have an income, and you exchange time for dollars. You go to work, maybe it takes you an hour to get there. You're there for 8+ hours, because let's face it, nobody even gets paid for lunch anymore, and you leave. You have no leverage and you have no freedom. You get 2 weeks off a year. And sometimes they're not even that flexible if you need an extra day or you're sick. Some companies totally frown on that, right? So that's it. You got nothing, right? It's you're counting on them to maybe take care of you once a year and give you a raise, and that's it. And then your bottom left, you're self-employed, you have a job, but you exchange time for money. And Kristen made reference to being a franchise owner. So this is where you can really kind of illustrate that point, okay? And like me, I'm a health coach. So if I'm not working and I don't have a session or several sessions that day, I'm not making any money. I don't have anything planned. I don't have any income at all, right? So there's some flexibility in terms of schedule, but you're still starting every day at zero again, at $0. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid. So then we're going to move up to the top right. You have a system, and some people work for you. You're building your dreams, and you're teaching other people how to build their dreams. So you're maybe multiplying your income a little bit. You're a business owner, but it's not necessarily the same. There may be, you have a brick and mortar business, you have a store, or, you're selling a product at vendor shows and you have somebody that's helping you, or something like that. Or, in some cases, when you have a network marketing business, you're still buying product and stocking and selling it that way. And, or, in some cases, even doctors are doing this, where they're maybe trying to build that second avenue of income, but they're forced to buy stock and sell it to their patients as they come in. So they're still laying out money. They're still putting stuff on credit and kind of paying themselves back. And there's this whole tax implication thing. It gets really a little bit complicated. And then you've got the bottom right, where money is working for you as passive income. And in doTERRA, you're helping people get started. You're helping people get financially free. And their compensation plan is so generous that you're getting paid month after month. And one by one, as you're enrolling people and they're becoming impassioned to help other people, there's this beautiful cascade effect happening, right? So in a month, if you're helping, let's say 2, 3, 4, maybe even more people, and because you're so passionate about it, and suddenly they're getting that infectious feeling and they want to share it with their people, you've got this beautiful thing happening. So there may be times when you're doing preparation, and maybe you're feeling it at times. In the early stages, you're doing a lot more preparation and you're working harder. But that all comes together and it starts to get easier as those numbers grow, right? So for some of us, we're kind of in that middle stage, and you never want to slow down because you're always right on the other side of the brink of that. Okay. So your money's working for you, and, dollars multiply as that residual and that passive income begins to grow. So your income is not always going to be dependent on your presence. It's going to just be dependent on your enthusiasm and your passion. Moving on. So this is really interesting because, of course, this can be different for everyone, no matter where they live. We need a certain amount of money to live on after we retire. And, it really kind of depends on where you are. I mean, some people are looking to retire at 50. Some people are looking to retire at 70. Maybe they still want to keep busy. Maybe I want to, I'm of a certain age. Let's just say that. But I could conceivably stop in the next anywhere from 5 to 10 or more years. But why would I want to not share what I know, right? So in order for someone of my age to have enough money to retire with the minimum amount of money at retirement, I will have wanted to save $27,000 a year. I don't know anyone who's really able to do that and also live and pay their bills and get their work done, right? So many people are kind of juggling and trying to pick up that second job, or you can read the screen here. I don't need to go over every detail of this, but it's kind of a little bit bleak when you think about the fact that there's a large number of people of a certain age that have less than $5,000 in their bank account, that know that if anything were to happen to their job, they would not have something else. And you really don't want to depend on plan B. You want to kind of have that cushion. So why not have that set up? We cannot depend on outside resources, right? You want to already begin to be building that passion so that when you make that decision, or that decision is made for you, and we hope that it doesn't happen that way, that you've already built that cushion, that maybe you are working that day job and you're only putting in, 5, 7, 10, even 15 hours on the weekends and sometimes in the evenings. But if anything were to happen, you're ready, waiting, and prepared to put in that 30 hours a week to really step into that and start to really, close that gap, right? So moving along, dilemma is over. Why would you do it with doTERRA? Simply put, you have a built-in business model. Here it is, right? There's no product sourcing. They're handling all of that for you. They're fulfilling all your orders. They're doing all your packaging. They've got a beautiful customer service department. They're handling shipping and inventory. It's not your responsibility. You're just facilitating the conversation. You're building passion. You're building relationships. You're creating wellness in a community of wellness seekers. And that's it. You are sampling and enrolling. You're just creating a community of people who are growing exponentially day by day. We have a built-in education system. We have product knowledge, business trainings, and leadership development, where you don't even have to, you can literally plug someone in to a leadership program and most of which don't even cost anything at this point. There's leaders that are putting in time and helping us all to grow. There's low startup costs. One thing that will happen when you do make that commitment is you are committed to placing a 100 PV LRP order each month. But the beautiful thing is you're buying products for your own household. So like Kristen referred earlier to consumables, you're using your supplements. I don't know about you, but since the last couple of months, I clean my house way more. And by the way, my home has not touched a cleaner from outside of doTERRA, not one single time. First of all, in the last 6 plus years, but even more so, more than ever now, because I know how vulnerable a body can become when using toxic chemicals. So I doubled down on my cleaner products, and I ordered twice as many, and I shared them with the people I care about, and I use the products in my own home. So we're taking care of ourselves with our business. We're not just sharing samples, but we're using the products we're a product of our products. So that $100 isn't just us paying into it. You're not spending a franchise fee. It's where else can you start a business for $1,200 a year while you're also earning it back, right? So that's why you're going to choose direct sales, by the way. Moving on to Kristen.
Jeanne, I love it. And I just want to add to what you just talked about before we dive into this slide. I cannot stress, strongly enough that just investing in the things that I'm already using. I would be buying toothpaste anyway. I'm buying laundry detergent anyway. I wouldn't have been buying oils, but I would have been buying Tylenol or something like that. Now I'm not buying that. I'm buying oils instead. So I'm just buying the things that I'm going to be buying anyway, and that's my investment. And when I referenced earlier, I owned a franchise. My expenses on a monthly basis were approximately $10,000 a month. So that was with the brick and mortar and all of the expenses that go with that. So that meant that I needed to bring in $120,000 a year just to break even. That is without making one dime. So when someone said, you know, you can just buy the things you're using in your house anyway, and over the course of the year, you'll spend $1,200. And that's all you really need to spend. And, you know, except for perhaps, like Jeanne said, some supplies to sample people. I mean, my mouth is dropping open then, because I can't even imagine that. That just was so different from what I was doing. Mm-hmm. So getting into what you want to create, whether it's your financial freedom, whether you want to give more, whether you just want to be home with your kids and have the option to do that, or whether you want to travel more, you get to decide what level you're looking at. And if you look over here, we've referenced this before on an earlier slide, that you can either pay for your product, supplement your income, or replace your income. And I am the queen of the side hustle. I've always had like a job on the side, and for many reasons. For one, I started doing that right out of college because I wanted to earn a little extra money to go on trips because I like to travel. And then later on in my career, I still had a side business because I like having a backup plan. I like having options. And thankfully, when I was laid off from my corporate career, I had a side hustle that I could go on into. And so that was, you know, my plan B. And that was really reassuring to me. So if you look at these numbers here, when we talk about paying for your product in this top square, I don't know if my cursor is going there, we're talking about anywhere, depending on how much time you invest, between $300 and $700+ a month. And, you know, in general, it'll take people maybe 3 to 6 months to get there, depending on, you know, how closely you're following the plan. I love that Jeanne said, if you can check a box. I mean, this is a roadmap that is a proven, tried and true roadmap that has brought people to, you know, 6- and 7-figure incomes year after year, the last 12 years. And if you can follow that roadmap and be consistent about it, that's another key, you can also go there. Supplementing your income takes a little bit more time. You're talking 10 to 15 hours a week, and you're ultimately talking between $700 and $4,000+ a month. And you see these little squares here. These are what we call ranks in doTERRA, and it's not important to know them all now, but what you will see is as you increase in these various ranks, then your income subsequently increases as well. And then if you're replacing your income, that is going to be certainly more of a full-time 15 to 30 hour job. Now, I say that full-time, but I kind of laugh in the back of my mind because I never had a corporate job full-time that was 30 hours. It was always like 40 to 50 to 60 hours a week. And in fact, when I was working in my own business, the brick and mortar franchise, I was probably putting in 60 hours all the time, every week. And I worked almost 7 days a week most of the time, at least some of that, you know, some of that the day each day. So full-time in doTERRA is not necessarily equivalent to full-time, you know, in another industry. And you get to really design that for yourself. And again, it depends on how much time, how closely you follow the plan, and how consistent you are. If you're only working the plan once in a while, then, you know, results may vary, results may show. So we're going to tell you just a little bit of the compensation plan. And this is kind of like the top of the trees. We're not going to get into great depth on this. But doTERRA, this is where doTERRA also shines, because we have a very strong compensation plan. It's almost a hybrid of different network marketing plans that are out there from my understanding of those other companies that I've seen. And there are actually 5 ways you can get paid, because, you know, doTERRA said, we're just not going to pay you one way or 2 ways. We're going to give you lots of options. One thing that's unique and special is the short-term option, which you see on the left side, which is the fast start bonus. And that is paid every week, and you get paid 20% of any of sales from new customers right off the bat. right off the bat. So let's just say that you had a class with 5 people. You gathered 5 friends or family members, and each of those people purchased 200 PV, which is product value, basically equivalent approximately to $200, more or less. And that's an average, that's a typical average purchase for a customer. So let's say all 5 of those people purchased a starter kit for $200. You're going to get 20% of that sale, which is going to be $200. So there you go. That's one class, 5 people. Everybody buys that starter kit, and already you're off to the races there with your 200. Keep doing that, multiplying that, and that's going to multiply exponentially. So what about long-term income? We have a unique option, which is the bullet about building a team or duplicating, that we call power of 3. And we're going to tell you in a moment about what kind of money that looks like, what that looks like monetarily for you. But basically what that means is you find 3 people that are also passionate about health and that want to share with other people. And if all of 4 of you are purchasing at a certain level every month, doTERRA is going to give you a bonus. If those 3 people do the same thing and they each find 3 people and replicate that, doTERRA is going to give you a bigger bonus. And if you all do that one more time, and that level of 3 people also find 3 people, it's kind of like that old commercial. I don't remember the hair. Like if you tell a friend and we tell a friend, it works like that. And we'll show you what that means in dollars in a moment. So that's another way that you get paid. Next, residual, or what we call Unilevel income. That means you've heard about the pyramid, right? So we do have a little tree, and that means that every person that shares underneath you and continues to share, you get a little percentage of. And we'll talk about that as well. Then there's bonuses. Now, once you are really working consistently in doTERRA and you are reaching a leadership level, which is that, 15 or so hours a week that we talked about, that level, doTERRA wants to reward you again to give you a little bit bigger piece of the pie. And they take a small percentage of the earnings from that month and they divide it among the leaders, which is beautiful. And then finally, there's the option of retail, but we don't really have people buying retail much because why would you when you can get 25% off? So it's not common, but perhaps you have a business and you want to incorporate the oils there. We can talk about that option. And since I've been involved with doTERRA, they've changed the compensation plan 2 times. And both times it was in our favor to increase our bonuses and to add bonuses to some of the people who might be starting out and, just getting rolling with their business. And so the fact that we are part of a company that continues to make it more generous, and in fact, another new change that they made to the compensation plan recently was to add a Founders Club option, which is a bigger bonus that is going to be given to 200 people who meet a certain set of goals. And then those people are going to share in a percentage of the next $1 billion that doTERRA makes. So there's options for small amounts of money to pay for your toothpaste and your laundry detergent. And there's options for massive amounts of money if you're willing to do the work for that. And that is an option on the table, and it's a level playing field for everyone. Anyone can actually go for that. So that's a pretty exciting thing that doTERRA has done. So what does this look like in dollars? The power of 3 that I just referenced, the first level of the power of 3, that's when you find 3 friends. Your first level bonus is $50, or if you do that for a whole year, $600 a year. So if you were investing, you'd need to put in investment of $12,000 in and get at a interest earning 5%. Good luck with that, finding that 5%. Secondly, the second level of power 3 is $250. That's when those 3 friends you brought bring their 3 friends, and that can equate to up to $3,000 a year. And then finally, if you can get those next three friends to duplicate that, that is $1,500 a month, or an equivalent of $18,000 per year. So just simply by using the power of 3, you can earn up to $1,500 a month. And that's not even including any of the other compensation pieces of the compensation plan. So what does it take for Unilevel? Jeannie, what does that look like? Oh, you just muted.
Sorry about that. This is along the same lines as what Kristen was just saying, but a little bit different, because she mentioned the power of 3 is just your front line. And then Unilevel is all those additional people that have been enrolling and placed in your structure. And each one you're getting a little bit of a different percentage on, which is a really simple formula. And you don't even have to pay that much attention to that. That just shows up, which is pretty cool. But the average monthly income for a silver is around $2,200 a month, okay? So this is residual income that you're earning month after month. Even if it takes a little while for you to get to this point, you're gonna get to this point, and you're like, in order for you to make that, you would have, like, just for doing nothing, not going to your day job, what it's basically saying here on the screen is you would need to have invested $528,000 to take out $2,200 a month and live off it, right? So you'd be independently wealthy at that point, and maybe you wouldn't, this would just be fun money for you. But the fact is, that's a significant amount of money, and it's really taking, the leadership roles are taking maybe 15 or 20 hours a week, but this is not unreachable. This is really like within reach for any one of us. And in fact, it is reachable for a lot of us that are here. So, they say that the average time period to reach gold is roughly 30 months or so. For some people, really kind of just hop right into it, and they have an amazing network of people. And then there are other people that are doing doTERRA on the side for a couple of years, and then kind of like sort of growing it a little bit and a little bit. And their average income is $4,500 a month. Now, let's think for a minute about the impact that would have on your life right now. Right now, doing whatever it is you're doing, that's just that additional Unilevel check. Not even, we're just talking about all the people out there who are reallocating their budget and buying the things that they're using every single day. So we're not encouraging anybody to do anything crazy or jump into anything that we wouldn't do ourselves. We're just changing the world and changing their wellness and helping them to actually save money and increase their wellness just by buying the things that they would have bought anyway, right? And while doing that, you're helping to build your own financial freedom. So your income is now at $44,500 a month. And by the way, in order for you to earn that by doing absolutely nothing as passive residual income, you would have to have invested over $1 million for you to live off of that stipend out of your savings. I don't know about you, but I haven't hit that number yet in my savings, in my interest. So moving along, we're going to plan for the future, right? If you have a typical day job, a 9-to-5 job, where you're still trading hours for dollars, we've got our column on the left, right? So let's say you're, I don't even know what like nurses or teachers make, but, or maybe an admin, or maybe you like a customer service somewhere or something, and you're making roughly a little over $50,000 a year, right? So every year they give you a little cost of living increase, and if nothing goes wrong, you'll be increasing in small increments, so that at the end of 10 years you might be making a little bit more money in your paycheck, but the chances are your expenses went up as well, right? So you're not really seeing that increase. Nothing's changed for you at all in 10 years. Other than the time is passing, you're getting older, and your number went up, but again, you're still eating the same foods and doing everything the same, right? And the cost is just going up in every way. But with doTERRA, in the beginning, you might start off a little bit slowly. You're kind of building your momentum. You're increasing your community. You're sharing your passion. You're growing a little bit. You're sampling some people. And here you are. You're putting in a few more hours in the second year and the third year, and you're growing and you're gaining momentum. This is an incomparable opportunity for you to put a little bit more gas in your tank, step it up, gain momentum. This is more than like a little pretend job here. You're not like bartending on the weekends or waitressing on the weekends and getting some pocket money, because you're hopefully meeting other people that want to do the same thing, and they're bringing people in, and that passive income is growing as well. So you're rank advancing while you're just doing the same thing, right? So you could take 5 years to really start to see that momentum grow, but you want to keep doing it, because this is where the magic really happens. Don't give up when you start to see yourself like at that space, because as you get higher in rank, all of a sudden those numbers begin to double pretty exponentially, right? You're getting into those profit pools and you're like, wow, I'm gold, so now I'm getting this number of shares. And then at platinum, I get this number. Look how that number just doubled from silver to gold to platinum. Bam, just like that, right? There are literally no limits. There are people in every single walk of life. I mean, we have leadership stories of people who came to doTERRA that were literally homeless in domestic abuse shelters, who had to sell their belongings to buy their first kit. And their enthusiasm and their passion took them to a space where they grew and grew, and they were able to make some different lifestyle choices, pay some rent, do the minimum of $100 a month, and share a little bit out of their stash. And here they are now at diamond, blue diamond, presidential diamond, and beyond. And this is people that we know and speak to on a regular basis. This is not pie in the sky. And by the way, Kristen at one point made mention of like all of the philanthropic arms and all the beautiful things that doTERRA does. And one of the other things that I think is important to note is that those higher level people, they're people that like hold events, and they welcome every single person to come, and they're creating leadership and education opportunities for every one of us to learn their system, so that we can kind of figure out what resonates for us and step into it and get to the same space as them. There's no limit. There's no limit to the number of people you can meet or the number of dollars that you can earn on that. So it literally is unlimited. Right now, there are triple presidential diamonds, but there's a question mark there, because any one of us could increase that and move forward through that rank. So stepping on.
Before we go, I think we're on the last slide, right?
There's one more.
One more slide, but I want to just add something to this slide, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, as Jeannie said, we have colleagues and friends at all of these levels. Mm-hmm. And you might look at this and feel like, wow, that's like, out of reach for me. But we have a proven system to help people get to that level of elite in 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And so if $3,600 a month extra for, following a system with a couple hours a week, if that is going to help you in your budget, we can help you do that. Those are people who, have limited time, but lots of passion and can follow the system. We can help people get there in a very short time. So I definitely want to just reinforce that. And then we have our last slide tonight.
So maybe you're wondering, what is the next step? How do I move forward, right? I know I'm excited. And it couldn't be more simple, truthfully. If you're already a wholesale customer and you're ready to jump in, you simply have to upgrade to Wellness Advocate. And that's literally it. You're just going to increase your LRP, which is your loyalty rewards order. And that's it. You're going to be ready to go. As soon as you do that, doTERRA assigns a website address to you. You're welcome to share it. You can customize it to however you want, upload your picture, share your story, share your passion, and that is it. You have an immediate portal for people to go in and place their orders, and doTERRA handles the rest for you. And you are just now going to reach into tapping into the existing resources that your leader provides for you. But by the way, I just want to take one step back. If you're not a wholesale customer yet, and you're watching this and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get those products, but I also can't wait to share because I know how excited I am about this. You're going to choose your kit. You're going to set up your loyalty reward order, and then you're going to tap into the existing resources. So you're going to turn to the person who invited you to attend this tonight, or that, helped you to get started. And they're going to plug you into their education system. And like I said, and like Kristen said, there are so many various different ways. It's really about what works for you. Every one of us has a different style of learning and sharing. Maybe you prefer to watch videos. Maybe someone else prefers to read a book about it. Maybe someone else just wants to get a handout and hand it out to their friends and start reading from that sheet of paper and sharing their story. And that is exactly how I got started, without having any other background at all. So what would you do in that case? You're going to start making your list, sharing your passion, sampling those people, getting an oil in their hands, having them open the bottles, and this is where your journey begins. That's it.
Beautiful. Yes. I'm going to stop sharing the screen in a sec so we can see all of your beautiful faces, and we'll see if there are any questions in the chat. Let's stop the share. Beautiful. Look at all
the stop the record.
And we're going to stop the record.